What's happening, guys? I hope you're having a great day. We are doing another healthy meal prep recipe on the channel today. We're actually probably doing the easiest chicken broccoli sweet potato meal prep you'll ever do in your entire life. As a lot of you guys know, I don't really like to meal prep a whole bunch, so when I do, I try to keep things as simple as possible. It's just like kind of a rule. It's rule number one of meal prep to me, has to be super simple. So even if you're a beginner to meal prep, even if you're the worst cook in the world, you will not screw this up. At least it'll be very tough to screw this meal prep recipe up. So let's hop right in this one and get cooking. So for today's recipe, we're gonna be using 3 medium-sized sweet potatoes. If you're keeping track of the nutritional information, you'll wanna weigh out your sweet potatoes before you rinse and scrub them in your sink. And once they're cleaned off, you can just set them aside to dry on a paper towel. You'll also wanna weigh out your broccoli. We're gonna be using 2 large heads of broccoli today, and you'll wanna give that a good rinse in your sink as well. Once you've rinsed off your broccoli, you can set that aside to dry. Get your sweet potatoes back out and start cutting them up into bite-sized pieces. I like to cut them in half and then cut them in half again. So I quarter my sweet potatoes. So once I've got those cut up, I'll transfer them to a super large bowl, and then I'll add about a tablespoon of olive oil. Then what I'll do is I'll take a spatula, mix the olive oil with the sweet potatoes until all of the sweet potatoes are covered in olive oil. And then what I'll do is I'll transfer my sweet potatoes to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Once I've got all the sweet potatoes added, I just evenly spread them out between the sheet. And then I set that baking sheet aside and I start working on my broccoli. What I like to do is I like to cut my broccoli in half and then just start cutting it into florets from there. So you'll see I'm just kind of chopping it into tiny florets. Once I cut it in half, it just makes it super easy to do that. And then I'll start adding all of my broccoli to a separate baking sheet. And don't even try to fit the broccoli florets with the sweet potatoes because it just won't fit, guys. Once you've got all your broccoli set up, you can add a little olive oil to the top of your broccoli, about a tablespoon, and then just start working the olive oil into the broccoli with your hands. Now what we can do is take out our chicken breast. We're gonna take out 4 medium-sized chicken breasts and start trimming off all of the fat. Once we've got the fat removed from our chicken breast, we're going to start cutting it into bite-sized pieces. I like to use just a pair of kitchen shears to do this. I think it's the easiest way to cut up your chicken. And once we've got all of our chicken trimmed up, we're going to take out another baking sheet lined with parchment paper, coat it with a little baking spray, and start adding our chicken to the sheet. We're going to add all the chicken evenly throughout the entire baking sheet, and then we're going to bake our sweet potatoes, our chicken, and our broccoli all at 425 degrees, but for varying times, guys. So all that means is 12 to 15 minutes later, you want to take out your chicken and broccoli together, but you're going to want to bake your sweet potatoes for another 15 minutes after that, just because they take a little longer to bake. So once your sweet potatoes are done baking, you can let those cool off, and then you can start weighing out your chicken. At least this is when I like to weigh out my chicken because I think this is the most accurate time to do it. Plus it's just going to save you time, guys, because you have to weigh out your chicken when it's done cooking anyway, so you can evenly split it up between your meal prep containers. And that's exactly what I'm about to do. So once I've got all my chicken added to my bowl, I'll just evenly split it up between 4 of my meal prep containers. Then I'll do the same thing for my broccoli. Even though I weighed my broccoli and I'm tracking my broccoli as raw from before, I'll split it up evenly between my 4 meal prep containers, and then I'm doing the same thing for my sweet potatoes. I'm going to weigh out how much sweet potato I have, and then I'll just evenly split up that amount between my 4 meal prep containers as well. So at this point, when I've added all the ingredients to my meal prep containers, I just seal the containers, and then I like to add a little sticker on each one that lets me know the macros of the meal prep container themselves. I store my meal prep containers up to 5 days in my fridge, and to avoid boring meal prep syndrome, I recommend just using different sauces on your chicken. It really helps to spice things up. All right, so that's today's meal prep recipe. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, it means the world to me, and it means the world to me when you guys hit the like button, the thumbs up button on the video. And of course, if you want the full recipe with the metric measurements or the macros, or you just want to pick up any of the stuff from today's meal prep recipe, all of that, like always, is in the video description below. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.